Hi everyone, my name's Nathan. You probably remember me from a lot of the videos that I've done so far, so I wanted to go over the 15 plane builds that I usually have. We're going to start out with the most try-hard of the builds. Right here we have the EML XO2 Wyvern, mainly used for pooping on other Wyvern builds. Uh, Based off of the build that we've got, I take the high pressure components, flap actuators, maneuverability, and the bulletproof tank. The bulletproof tank is the biggest part because it doesn't let me get one shot by other EMLs. We take the two EML parts because we want our EML to be as strong as it can be. We take the machine gun device because we want the guns firing at all times. Because when you hit someone with the EML, it only deals 95%. So when you hit them with two bullets, it actually ends up killing them outright. As for the last part, I take the data link antenna just for a little bit better homing on my missiles. I mainly use the Falcon here so that I can intercept faster planes, such as the F-15 frame models, the YF-23 models, and the other Falcon models. I don't take any extra parts on the TLS. I have it mainly set up for standard so I can take it into both regular lobbies and special weapon enabled lobbies. So I pretty much use it for no special weapon lobbies that are unlimited. I don't actually use this build anymore, the ADF-11F Raven with the quick airs, for the simple fact that the F-22 does its job better, and although the F-22 might lose its gun power for the PLSL, it can also work in clouds, so it's really not too big of a trade-off. It's got the exact same build that my F-22 has, but the advantages and disadvantages are so small that I eventually just ended up deleting this one, honestly. So in slower special weapon off lobbies, I'll usually take the ADF-11F with the UAVs because it has a lot more firepower in close quarters than the Falcon does with its PLSL gun. The PLSL is also a lot easier to aim. Oh, and as a reminder, you want to take the light condenser. It increases the firepower of the PLSL and it turns about, I think it's about 12 hit kills into 8 or 7. The F-22 build I've got going on here is pretty much the same as the ADF-11s. The idea of it though is that it has high pressure components too. It can fight close quarters with quam curving and it can intercept very well. This particular F-22 setup is just incredibly difficult to hit, kill, and just outmaneuver. I would consider quams to be a pretty heavy investment for the arms part wise. You only get 30, so you can only pretty much put 3 parts on. I take the high-speed data link just for better regular missiles. The very next build coming up is the F-22, but it's built for no special weapon lobbies. And you probably are wondering, why would I ever take this instead of the Raven? The main reason is because I can put on high pressure components too. And what this allows me to do is to intercept and catch up to pretty much anybody that's trying to run away from me. I have a stealth build YF-23 here with pressure 2 and all the turning parts that you'll ever need. The idea is that you want to hang out about 7,300 meters away from the engagement and just fire off your HPAAs. You want to take power, homing, and you want to take the range extender. You don't want to take the extra HPAAs because the further the HPAAs go, the higher their homing is. Almost every single one of the builds that I'm showing off here is some variant of a 1v1 build or my SU-37. This SU-35S is one of my most powerful 1v1 builds for the simple fact that it's got lock-on speed and pretty much everything you'll ever need to fight someone in a one-on-one engagement. You don't really need engine parts so much as you need the lock-on, gun power, and the ability to curve missiles very well. If you really want to run the SU-35 in a 2500 lobby, you're going to need to take off one of the parts, and I usually take off armor and equip LASMs. The next build I've got coming up is my SU-37 with the TLS. I don't use any TLS parts, but I do use the pressure 2, and what that allows me to do is to pretty much dogfight, and if anyone tries to interrupt it, I can just speed away. The TLS allows me to catch up to F-15s and higher speed frames. This build actually used to be my premier 1v1 build until figuring out that I don't need high pressure and figuring out how good lock-on is. This one is my SU-37 that I use for 1v1s that are specifically for 37s only and for no special weapons. I have the HPAAs on, but they don't really matter, and this is pretty much a carbon copy of what the SU-35 would have. This is my pure high power anti-air build that I use. I have a lot of success with it in lower speed lobbies for 2500. I'd say the main weakness of the high powers is that you can't catch high speed opponents very well. It's not very good at intercepting. On the flip side, missile curving with the HPAAs is a lot better and easier. And this 37 build is just a close quarters combat monstrosity. Any person who makes a build video is going to have the Rafale M with the high capacity anti-airs. I usually take high pressure components for the extra speed boost because it's pretty weak at intercepting. I take the power, the propellant for extra speed, and I take the extra high capacity anti-airs, and of course I take the homing. This thing is also pretty much an absolute noob stomper. It's really good. I don't really get the opportunity to whip out my SU-33 with EML in the lower lobbies for 2500, but this is meta and I've got to take it, so. Taking high pressure means that you can catch up to anybody in 2250. Along with the bulletproof fuel tank means other EMLs deal 95%, and I covered that with the XO2S. This time I don't actually take the machine gun parts that auto fire. I take the data link missiles and the homing missiles so I can pressure opponents into slowing down so I can get an easier shot. The EML sight's also different. I'll be honest, I just use the Mig-21 for fun and whenever I'm playing against new players as more of a power limiter than anything else. Regardless, it's still pretty strong in what it does. Fun fact before I move on to the Mig-21, you can actually use an HPAA build like you do on the 37 and it's really powerful in close quarters as well. Before I move on to the next, I'll go ahead and show you what exactly parts I use to set up for the HPAA. It is exactly like the 37. I'm just basically spending time for no reason putting it back up. I don't know why. Yeah, coming up is the Mig-21. I use that to basically stomp 2000 lobbies and under because it's super strong and turns very well. It turns like the Rafale M, but its main weakness is that whenever you're at lower speeds, its energy retention's super poor. You also don't need ECU at all, but you do need the gun parts. I've actually done a lot of experimentation on the Mig-21. I've used it since Steam release, and this is pretty much the most effective build that I can think of for 2000 all the way up to 2500. I want to say thank you for watching. If you really liked the video, go ahead and sub, leave a comment if you got any questions or concerns. I check it every single day, so appreciate it.